Hey, lovely yogi friends. Welcome back if you have been here before, and if you are new, then just welcome. First things first, if you do enjoy practicing with me, then please do take a second to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like so that I know you enjoyed it, and of course I would welcome any comments with requests, suggestions, or just anything you feel like saying. So this is going to be a challenging, intermediate / advanced Vinyasa class. These kind of my favourite flows to plan and to film, and you all seem to enjoy them, so here we are. We will be working our way up towards the pose Flying Warrior, which is a very challenging pose. I find it really difficult. My pose does not look like the versions you see on Instagram, so if it's the same for you, that is fine. You do not even have to do the pose. You're going to have a really fun time, hopefully, whether or not you make it into that pose at the end. So, to begin, we will stand at the top of our mat, bringing the feet to roughly hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider if that feels more stable, and making sure that the toes are roughly pointing towards the front of the mat. There'll be plenty of movement coming up, so this is our time to find a little bit of quiet and stillness to connect to our bodies, to our mind, and to our breath. Lift all 10 toes off the mat and then place them down one by one. So the pinky toe, the next toe, the middle toe, the second toe, and the big toe. Lift them all off once again. Place them back down one at a time. Pinky, second toe, middle toe, and then finally working your way to the big toe. One more time, lifting them all off, and then trying to place them down slowly, one at a time, and keep the toes nice and spread, providing that stable foundation for you. And just take a moment here to rock from left to right, rock from front to back, shifting the weight from the heels to the toes. Maybe rock the weight around the feet in circles. Going in both directions. And now you've experienced all those extremes, try and distribute the weight evenly throughout the entire sole of the foot, grounding down from front to back and from left to right, making sure you're not collapsing into the arches or rolling onto the outside edges. Bring your awareness into your calves, your shins, your knees, finding a little gentle micro bend in the knees, not locking them out, finding a little bit of softness. Bring the awareness up into your thighs, finding just a slight engagement, tensing up the quads just slightly to provide that stable foundation. Bring your awareness to your glutes, your hip bones, your pelvis, the lower belly and the lower back. I've said it before, there is no shame in yoga or in life in letting your belly fill up with air. Do not be ashamed to let your belly rise and fall with every breath. Bring your awareness to the sides of the body, lifting up through both sides of the waist, finding length, finding space across the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, as the shoulder blades glide down the back body and the shoulders soften away from the ears. Bring your awareness through the arms, the palms of the hands. Maybe you can feel some tingling in the hands. Can you feel the energy pulsing through your fingertips? Carry on travelling up to your neck, your jaw. Is there any tension there? Maybe you can soften that tension. The face, the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead. Again, letting go of any tension that you might have accrued. the crown of the head reaching tall up towards the sky, finding that opposition between the feet grounding down and the crown of the head reaching up. Bring your awareness to your breath as it travels in and out through the nose. Maybe it feels a little bit cooler on the way in and a little bit warmer on the way out. Maybe you can feel the breath travelling down your throat, into your chest, into your lungs, into your belly, filling up the entire torso from top to bottom, left to right, front to back. Take 5 deep breaths here on your own, making them soft, smooth, slow, deep. Noticing if your mind is resisting this stillness, if it's finding it challenging, and just taking that information. As you are ready, once you've done your 5 deep breaths, start to bring some movement into the lower body. So maybe like we were at the start, lifting up the toes and then placing them back down. Maybe scrunching the toes in towards the feet. Maybe rocking the weight from side to side, from one foot to the other. Start to increase the movements, maybe lifting one foot at a time, taking circles with the ankle in both directions. Tapping into our balance here. Maybe you're a bit wobbly here right at the start. Now maybe start to take circles with one knee at a time. Again, going in both directions. Mobilising through the hip joint, warming up through the legs. You might hear some clicks, some clanks, some funny noises. That's totally normal. Maybe start to sway the hips round in circles, widening the stance. Oh, my hips are very clicky today. They're obviously needing this little warm up. Feels good. Maybe sway the hips from side to side. Maybe reach the arms all the way up overhead and take a side stretch in both directions. You do not have to be doing what I'm doing. You might look totally different to me. Just finding what your body is asking for at this moment on this day. Maybe start to take those circles with the wrists this time. Bringing the hands into fists maybe. Maybe you start to windmill the arms, mobilising through the shoulders. Maybe take some circles with the head and the neck, either full or half neck rolls, whatever feels good. Maybe take some circles with the jaw, letting go of any tension. As you are ready, on your next breath in, reach both arms all the way up to the sky, bring them overhead, maybe come into a teeny little back bend, and as you release the breath, release down into a fold, bending the knees deeply, bringing either the hands or the fingertips down towards the earth, and keeping the movement going, pedaling out through the legs. You might continually bend from one leg to the other, or you might pause at one side for an extra breath, really feeling that stretch in the back of the leg. On your next breath in, either come up onto the fingertips or press the hands into the shins or onto the thighs, coming up to a flat back. And as you exhale, release back down into your fold. Bend the knees deeply, fill the lungs as you reach the arms all the way up to the sky, and empty the lungs as you bring the hands to interlace behind the lower back. Deep breath in, draw the fists down towards the floor as you puff the chest up towards the sky. And deep breath out, hinging at the hips, descending back down into that fold. And once again, you can bend and straighten one leg at a time, maybe tapping the shoulder in towards the knee as you go, finding a little bit of a twist in the upper body. Release the hands. Once again, deep breath in, flat back, deep breath out, release. Bend the knees, fill the lungs, rise all the way up to the sky, and this time bring opposite hand onto opposite elbow. Start to draw the elbows towards the back of the room as you pull the heart through towards the front of the room, or if you're outside, just towards the front of the mat. And keeping the elbows clasped, once again, exhale, descend down into a fold, this time into ragdoll. Maybe sway the torso from side to side here. Letting go of any tension from the upper body as it tractions down towards the earth. Release the clasp, deep breath in, flat back, deep breath out, fold. Once again, fill the lungs as you rise all the way up to tall mountain, and this time exhale, bring the hands together at heart center. Walk the toes out towards the edges of the mat, feet pointing out at an angle, and then start to lower yourself down slowly, slowly, slowly into a malasana, bringing the elbows to meet the knees, pressing them open, and maybe finding a little bit of a wiggle here. Once again, feeling into the hips, just checking in with how your body is feeling today. On your next breath in, sweep the left hand down, sweep the right arm all the way up to the sky, and then maybe reach the hands to meet one another behind that left leg, coming into a bind. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, take it over to the other side and take a full cycle of breath here, maybe with the bind. We will be playing around with a lot of binds in this class, but every single one of them is totally optional, so you do not have to take any of the binds. You can try them, and if you don't enjoy them, you can let them go. As you're ready, unwind back through center, plant both hands down on the mat, start to lift the left foot off the mat, step it all the way to the back, and then walk that right foot forward if you need to, so that it's planted next to the right hand and that the right knee is stacking over the right ankle. So we're in an active lizard pose here. Wider stance than our low lunge, and with the back knee lifted off the mat. On your next breath in, sink the hips in the direction of the floor as you lift the chest, gaze straight ahead, and as you breathe out, round through the spine, press the earth away from you and straighten that right leg. As you breathe in, drop it down, bend the knee, lift the chest, and as you breathe out, round and straighten that leg. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round. So it's like a cat-cow, but a little bit extra funky. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round, feeling that opening in the back of the right leg. One more time. Inhale, deep breath in, open everything up, and breathe out, chin into chest, rounding through the spine. Now drop your way back down into your funky lizard, and then step yourself back into your malasana. Left foot coming back up towards the top of the mat, and just find another little wiggle. This time, root down through both hands as you step the right foot to the back of the mat, shimmy that left foot forwards if you need to, feeling into our lizard. Deep breath in, open through the chest. Deep breath out, straighten the left leg, round the spine. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, send the hips up to the sky, draw the chin into the chest. 3 more. Filling the lungs as you open the chest and emptying the lungs as you round the spine. 2 more. Inhale. exhale. Last time, inhale, exhale. Come back to your lizard as you breathe in, and then step the right foot back to the top of the mat for your malasana. Have a little wiggle. Always like to have a little wiggle every time I land in my malasana. Now plant both hands on the mat, spread through the fingers, really root down. Find a little micro bend in the elbows as you hop both feet back and land in a plank. Hopping into your plank, stacking shoulders over elbows, over wrists, finding one nice long line of energy from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone, engaging through the core, drawing the navel up towards the spine, and let's take some rocks here, so pushing forward from the toes and then rocking back. Engaging our core, warming up through the wrists here. Now either carry on rocking backwards and forwards or maybe take it into circles on the wrists. Going in both directions. Come back to stillness, hold your plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then wave the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Find some movement here, as always, maybe pedaling through the legs, bending and straightening one knee at a time, drawing the chest back towards the thighs. Maybe shimmy the hips from side to side. On your next breath in, round through the spine, wave your way forwards into a plank, and as you breathe out, bend into the knees, arch the back, snake your way back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, round your way forwards into plank. Exhale, snake your way back. One more time, rounding it forwards, snaking it back. Now this time we'll snake it forward, so bend into the knees, bend into the elbows, come into an upward facing dog, and then round yourself back. Inhale, snake it forwards, come into upward facing dog. Exhale, round it back. One more time, snake it forwards, fill the lungs as you come into your up dog, and round your way back, landing in a downward facing dog. On your next breath in, sweep the right leg all the way up to the sky, bend that knee, let the heel drop in towards the glute, and then start to take big circles with that right knee. Going in both directions. Deep breath in, sweep the toes up to the sky. Deep breath out, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. Fill the lungs, reach the toes high. Empty the lungs, tap that knee in. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step that foot through in between the hands, spin the back heel down onto the floor, and then windmill your way up into a warrior 2. Look down, make sure the front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot, and we'll hold our warrior 2 for 3 deep breaths while I sort out my hair, which has fallen out. And I could have paused the video and sorted my hair out and started again, but you know what? This is real life. Our hair falls out. We move on. So holding your warrior 2, spreading through the fingertips, finding the energy, noticing how your mind reacts to holding this challenging pose. One more breath. On your next breath in, send it into a reverse warrior, sliding the left hand down the left leg, reaching the right arm up and over. Take a full cycle of breath here. And breathe out, windmill your way into side angle, either bringing the right hand or the right fingertips down to the mat, sweeping the left arm towards the front of the room. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, come back into your reverse warrior. This time there's the option of bringing the left hand to hook around the right inner thigh, coming into a half bind. And then once again, come into your side angle, maybe keeping that bind around the right thigh. Make sure you're not totally collapsing your torso onto that right leg. Now, if you've got the half bind, you can stay there, or you can start to shimmy that right arm underneath the right leg, and then bring the left hand to meet the right, clasping underneath the thigh, finding the bind, holding here, feeling that burn in the leg if you're anything like me, and then maybe still keeping the bind. We're going to hop the left leg in to meet the right. If you've got the bind, you'll probably need to slide the hands so they're underneath the groin, and then start to hover the left foot off the mat, coming into a bound half moon. So the hands are kind of bound underneath your groin or around your leg, or maybe they're not bound at all. If you don't fancy that option, you can just be in a good old standard half moon. That is totally fabulous. If you've got the bind, release it. Bring the right fingertips to hover off the mat. Reach the left fingertips up towards the sky. Now, keeping the arms extended and keeping the upper body twisted to the left, start to bend into that right knee and sweep the left leg through, coming into a pistol squat with the arms extended and the body twisted to the left. Hold here. Then bring the right hand for the outside edge of the left foot. You can bend that left leg if you need to, if you want to. Now, keeping the grip on the left foot, plonk your bum down on the floor, and keeping that right foot stamping into the earth and bringing the left leg with you, start to lower yourself down onto your back, pulling the left knee in towards your face, finding a stretch down the back of the left leg. Left knee can be bent. And now start to guide that left leg over to the right, letting the right knee fall over to the right with it, coming into a supine twist. Start to shimmy the right heel in towards the glutes, and then grab hold of the right foot with the left hand. So we're in a super funky supine twist situation. Start to bring yourself, I'm all stuck in my little curtain thing, unravel yourself back, and I'm kicking the door. Start to unravel yourself back through centre, keeping a hold on the feet, crossing the left knee over the top of the right, and drawing the heels in towards the glutes. So we're in a reclined cow face pose here. Now, keeping the grip on the feet, start to uncross the knees, but keep the legs crossed this time at the ankles, and start to rock your way up and come into a boat pose with the ankles crossed and the grip on the feet. Legs can be bent or straight. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, lift the chest up towards the sky. Now, can you let go of the feet and keep the ankles crossed, reaching the fingers up to the sky? And then lower yourself down into a low boat, still with the ankles crossed, arms either down by your side or fingertips reaching up overhead. Come back to your high boat with the ankles crossed. This is really hard. Lower down to low boat. You can totally uncross the ankles at any time. Back to high boat, back to low boat. One more time. Back to high boat. You can probably hear my voice quivering. Uncross the ankles, hold your standard boat. Rock your way all the way back, launch yourself up into a chair pose, fingertips reach up overhead, bending deeply into the knees, sinking down low, looking down, making sure you can still see all 10 toes. And release, bend those knees, descend down into a fold, have a little wiggle through the legs. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands on the mat. Step one foot at a time, back to plank. Work through a chaturanga. Deep breath in, upward facing dog. Deep breath out, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in, sweep the left toes all the way up to the sky, open the hip, bend the knee, start to take some big circles going in both directions. On your next inhale, sweep the toes back up to the sky, and your next exhale, knee to nose. Deep breath in, extend the leg, deep breath out, tap it in. One more time. Fill the lungs, reach the toes high, empty the lungs, draw that knee in, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then step that foot through in between the hands. Spin the back heel down, windmill the arms up, settling in to your warrior 2. And I don't need to sort my hair out on this side, so that's all good. Stack your head, your heart, your hips. Press into the outer edge of that back foot and sink down deeply into that front knee. Let's go for 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, find the reverse. Sweep the left fingertips towards the back of the room. Take another full cycle of breath here. And then windmill your way into a side angle, taking whatever arm variation you want for our first little visit here. Inhale, come all the way back to your reverse warrior, and then maybe find that half bind, reaching the right hand around for the left inner thigh. And then maybe keep the bind as you bring the left hand towards the earth for our half bound side angle. Nearly lost my words there. And then maybe you stay here, or maybe you start to shimmy the left hand underneath the left thigh and then bring the right hand to meet it, finding the bind. Seriously, if your left leg is burning, you're not alone, because mine is on fire right now. Now maybe keep the bind as you hop that right foot in halfway, let the hands slide underneath the groin, and then start to lift the right toes, whoop, so they're parallel, that right leg is parallel to the floor for a bound half moon. Like I said, the bind is always optional. If you've got the bind, release the left fingertips to hover, right fingertips reach up to the sky, feeling into all of those wobbles. Now bend into that left knee, sweep the right leg through, keep the upper body twisted to the right, twisty pistol, and then reach the left hand for the outside edge of that right foot, coming into a bind. And then plonk your bum down, keep the left foot stamped on the earth as you start to lower down onto your back, bringing that right knee in towards your face as you go. And let the left knee drop to the left, guide the right foot over to the left with it, and then maybe reach that right hand around for the left foot, drawing it in towards your glutes. Keeping the grip on the foot, start to come towards centre, crossing right knee over the top of the left, drawing the feet in towards the hips. Still with the grip on the feet, take it so that you're crossing over at the ankles rather than at the knees, and then rock your way up into this crisscross bound boat pose. There's definitely not a name for this, just crisscross bound boat, bit of a mouthful. Can you let go of the feet, keep the ankles crossed, arms either in front or up overhead, and then lower for a low boat with the ankles crossed, back to high boat with the ankles crossed. Let's go for a few more, lowering down, lifting back up, lowering, lifting, taking it at your own pace, lowering, lifting. Oh, I don't think I can do a single one more. Uncross those ankles, come into a classic boat pose, rock your way all the way back, launch your way all the way up into chair pose, settling into your chair, holding here. Option to come up onto the tiptoes for a balanced chair, coming high up, right onto the balls of the feet, onto your tiptoes, feeling into the shakes, feeling into the burns, and lower those heels, descend down into a fold, have a little wiggle. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands on the mat, step it back to plank, work your way through a vinyasa. Fill the lungs as you come into up dog. Empty the lungs as you come into down dog. Take a deep breath in. Maybe sigh it out through the mouth. Inhale, wave yourself back into a plank pose. Root down through the left hand. Tap the right hand to the left shoulder. Place it back down. Tap left hand to right shoulder. Place it back down. Keep it going from one side to another. Maybe taking it slowly. Maybe picking up the pace. Trying not to let the hips go too wild, moving from side to side. So keeping stability in the rest of the body as we move the arms. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to your plank. Start to walk the hands towards the front of the mat so you're in a hollow plank. Shoulders are not stacking above the elbows anymore. Finding a hollow plank. Hold, hold, hold. Now drop either one elbow down at a time, landing in a low plank, and then push back up, either one at a time or both at once. High plank. Low, high, low, high, low, high. Oh my gosh. Low, high. Back to your hollow hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk those hands back underneath the shoulders. Plank. Lift the right toes to hover off the mat for a three-legged plank. Tap the right knee to the right elbow. Back to three-legged plank. Back to the elbow. One more time. Three-legged plank. Tap to the elbow. Hold here. And then step that foot to the outside of the right hand. Once again, inhale. Drop the hips. Lift the chest. Exhale. Straighten that leg round the spine. Inhale, sink it down. Exhale, round the spine. One more time. Fill those lungs as you open through the hips and the chest. And empty the lungs as you round everything in. Drop yourself back down into your lizard pose. My hair's coming out again. I obviously did not do a very good job with my hair this morning. Start to shimmy the right shoulder underneath the right knee, and then bring the arms into T, lifting the arms off the mat, reaching the fingertips out to the side. Then either stay here or take the bind around the lower back, reaching the fingertips towards one another, coming into snail pose, this is often called. And then maybe, still with the bind, like we did in our half moon, you'll probably have to shimmy the hands so they're more underneath the groin. Spin your way into a Skandasana, keeping that bind underneath the body. If you've got the bind, release it. Bring the hands together at heart centre. Press that right elbow into the right knee. Now drop the hips down. Spin that right knee so that it taps next to the left. Doesn't actually have to meet the left, but just down in that direction. And then bring it back up. Lift the hips. Place the bum down. Spin that hip socket. tap that knee down, spin the hip in the socket is what I meant, bring it back up to your Skandasana. One more time, drop it down, tap that knee in, pivot, and then press it back up. Extend the arms into T, fingertips reaching left to right, and then push your way up into Prasarita Padottanasana. Come down to a flat back, fingertips still reaching out to the sides. So we're not going to come down into the fold, we're going to stay active with this flat back. Reach the right fingertips down, reach the left fingertips up, finding a twist, come back through centre. Left fingertips down, right fingertips up, come back through centre. Once again, bring the right fingertips down, left fingertips up, and then reach the left hand for the right inner thigh, finding a bind here in our Prasarita twist. And maybe still with that bind, start to bend back into the right leg, coming into a bound Skandasana. Right fingertips can reach out to the right, or they can just come wherever you fancy. Now still with the bind around that right leg, drop the hips down, bring the right knee to meet the left, turn so you're facing the back of the mat. Still with that bind, either on the thigh, or you could reach the left hand for the right foot, and then bring the right hand to the outside edge of the left leg, coming into a twist. As you inhale, find a bit more length. As you exhale, find a bit more depth. Unwind from the twist, bring the hands to press together at heart centre. Now stamp the left foot next to the right thigh, and then swivel, is that a word? Swivel, it is a word. Swivel the right leg so it extends straight out in front, pistol squat. Hold here in your pistol squat. And now put the right foot on the earth, sweep the leg left behind, coming into a warrior three. And yes, you will be facing the back of the mat, so don't worry, don't get confused, just listen to my voice if you can no longer see me. As you're ready, sweep the left toes straight out in front of you, staff pose, toes can be pointed or flexed, and take 10 mini pulses with that left leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your staff and then bring left foot to meet the right, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank, work through a chaturanga. Deep breath in, up dog. Deep breath out, downward facing dog. Now we have the fun of working our way back to the front of the mat. So inhale, rock yourself forwards to a plank, lift the left toes to hover off the mat, tap the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, tap it in. One more time. Deep breath in, extend. Deep breath out, tap and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, straighten the left leg, press the floor away. Fill the lungs, lift the chest, gaze straight ahead, and empty the lungs, round the spine, gaze back behind you. One more time. Inhale, let it feel good. Exhale, also let it feel good. And now inhale, drop your way back down to your active lizard. Start to shimmy the left shoulder underneath the left knee. Reach both hands off the mat, extending them straight out to the side. And then maybe find the bind behind the lower back. I've heard this called snail pose, but I'm not sure if that's its official name, but that's what we're going to roll with. I do feel like a little snail tucked up in a shell right now. So maybe keeping the bind, we spin our way into Skandasana on that left leg. Might feel a bit awkward and it might not feel good, in which case, don't do it. Everything I say is optional. Now release the bind, bring the hands to heart centre, drop the hips down, Pivot the hip in the hip socket so you can tap that left knee down. Bring the knee back up, lift the hips, place the hips down, tap that knee in. One more time, lift the hips, come back to your Skandasana, and then tap that knee in. This time we lift the hips, come back to our Skandasana, reach the fingertips out into a T, and then launch our way up into Prasarita. Heels pointing out slightly, toes pointing in slightly. This time we bring the left fingertips down, right fingertips up, come back through centre. Right fingertips down, left fingertips up, come back through centre, and left fingertips down, reach the right hand around for the left inner thigh, finding a bind, opening through the chest, and then with the bind, bend back into that left leg for a bound Skandasana, letting the left arm go wherever it fancies. Feeling that stretch in the right inner thigh, keeping the bind as we drop the bum down to the floor, bring the left knee to meet the right, pivot to face back towards the front of the mat, and then either with the bind on the thigh or taking it to that left foot, we reach the left arm up to the sky and then take it to the outside edge of that right leg, finding a twist. Deep breath in, finding a bit more length. Deep breath out, finding a bit more depth. Unravel from all your little twists, bring the hands together at heart centre, stamp the right foot alongside the left thigh, and then unwind that left leg into a pistol squat. Holding here in your pistol squat for just an extra little moment, and then root down through the left foot, sweep the right leg out behind, warrior 3, holding here, maybe reaching the fingertips out in front for a little bit of an extra challenge, and then swinging that left foot through, extending it straight out ahead, pointing or flexing the toes, standing staff, and then taking 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your staff for just an extra little moment, and then drop that foot down. Give the hips a little wiggle, let the hands flop by your sides, maybe shake out through the hands and the wrists, maybe take some big circles with the arms, maybe kick the feet, letting go of anything that happened as we work through those flows, as we prepare to move into our last little bit of fun before we make our way into Fly the Warrior. So as you're ready, deep breath in, reach the arms up, deep breath out, bring the hands down to the mat. Fill the lungs for Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, and empty the lungs as you step it back to your plank pose. Inhale, launch forwards, exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, press through to your upward facing dog. Exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right toes high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, sweep them high. Exhale, tap them in. One more time. Reach those toes up. Tap that knee in. Hold, tap the knee to the mat, to the nose, to the mat, to the nose, to the mat, to the nose, and then step that foot through. Back heel spins down, rise your way up, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg, bring the palms to press up overhead. Exhale, sink it back down. Inhale, fly the warrior. Exhale, sink it back down. One more time. Inhale, fly the warrior. Exhale, sink it back down. Now inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Reach the left fingertips out in front. Now start to shimmy the right hand underneath that right leg. So the right hand is stamping on the outside of the right foot, and the right shoulder or the right elbow is reaching under the knee. Start to bring the left hand to grab hold of the outside edge of the right foot. Start to lift that right foot off the mat. Start to straighten the right arm. Start to straighten the right leg, Right leg and the left arm. Start to bring the head through underneath as you straighten. Lifting the chest through. This is so hard. Oh. Whatever your pose looks like is totally cool. Okay, unwind, plant the left hand down, sweep the right toes all the way up into your three-legged dog. That was our fly the warrior. I told you it's very hard and I'm not very good at it, but that's totally cool. And now draw right knee into the nose, bring the right shin down onto the mat. So we're kind of in a pigeon position, but the back knee is lifted. Right knee is near the right wrist, right toes pointing back towards the left knee. Maybe you start to reach the fingertips up towards the sky. I am wobbling everywhere right now. That's absolutely fine. Woo! Little active pigeon moment. Find the balance. Or maybe you don't find the balance, that's fine. Start to bring the right fingertips down to the mat. Reach the left arm up and over, finding a side stretch here. Inhale, maybe reach both arms back up to the sky. Really squeeze that left glute to help you stabilise. And then bring the hands to frame the foot. Draw the knee into the nose, hold here. Step it back to a three-legged plank. Work through a three-legged chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, sweep the left toes high. 3 knee to noses for 1. Inhale, extend. Tap it in for 2. Extend. Tap it in for 3. Hold. Tap the knee to the mat, to the nose, to the mat, to the nose, to the mat, to the nose, hold, and then step way up into your warrior 2. Inhale, fly the warrior. Exhale, sink it back down. Inhale, fly the warrior. Exhale, sink it back down. One more time. Straighten the leg, bring the palms to touch, bend into that knee, sink back in. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Fingertips reach out in front, and then we start to shimmy. I feel like I've used the word shimmy so much in today's class, but it is a good word. Start to shimmy that left hand, the left elbow, the left armpit, under the left leg. Bring the right hand to grab the outside edge of the left foot. Start to straighten that left leg. Woo! See where you land. See what happens. You might not make it into the pose. That is totally fine. We can only try. Whoop, release. Maybe fling. Sweep that leg all the way back to your three-legged dog, and then draw the knee into the nose. Bring that left shin down onto the mat. Find your stability. Right knee stays lifted. And then maybe we start to reach the fingertips up to the sky, feeling into every single little wobble. Can you find the mental stillness as your body is wobbling? That single point of focus, that connection to your breath. And then bring left fingertips down to the earth. Reach the right fingertips up and over, finding a nice little side stretch. Send the breath into the right side body. Unravel one last moment with those fingers reaching up to the sky, and then frame that front knee. Draw the knee into the nose. Step it back to your three-legged plank. Work through your three-legged chaturanga. Deep breath into up dog. Deep breath out, downward facing dog. And we're going to start to cool things down pretty quickly. So drop down onto the knees. Bring the big toes to touch. Bring the knees as wide as the mat and sink your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. I always like to stack one hand on top of the other, bending the elbows, creating a little pillow for my head to rest on. Let your breath settle here in this child's pose. On your next breath in, lift slightly, press into the hands and breathe out. Start to walk the hands over to one side, stacking one hand on top of the other, drawing the hips and the shoulders back in space, feeling that stretch down the side body. Bring those hands back through centre as you breathe in and take them over to the other side as you breathe out. Inhale, come back through centre, spread through the fingertips, root through the hands, start to lift the hips so they're stacking above the knees. Walk the fingertips forwards as you sink the chest down towards the earth. Anahatasana, melting heart pose. Maybe wiggle the chest from side to side, dipping one armpit down towards the earth at a time. Maybe come up onto the fingertips to intensify that stretch even further. Lift the chest slightly, start to thread the right arm underneath the left, come onto the right ear and the right shoulder. Option to keep the left hand as it is, or to reach the left hand for the right inner thigh, coming into a bind, as we've done many times in our class today. Unravel. Reach the left arm long, reach the right arm long, and then thread. Left arm underneath the right, come onto left ear and left shoulder, and then option to take that bind, sweeping the left arm up and over, the right arm up and over I should say, reaching it around for the left inner thigh. Unravel yourself, come back through centre and start to press the hands back towards the body. Come to sit on your heels. You might need to walk yourself towards the front of the mat. Now separate the feet so that you can sit down in between them for Virasana, aka hero pose. If this does not feel good, then you do not have to do it. You can come into any other comfortable seat. If you want to intensify the stretch even further, you can start to walk the hands back down onto the mat, maybe coming onto the forearms, taking a moment in fish pose, pressing the chest up towards the sky as you draw the shoulders down away from the ears. And then maybe you come all the way down onto your back for a Supta Virasana, reclined hero pose. Maybe bring one hand onto the heart and one hand onto the belly. And if you wish to intensify the stretch in the quads even further, you can keep one leg in hero pose and then start to draw the other knee in towards the chest, interlacing the hands around that knee, drawing that knee in towards the body as you push the other knee down into the earth. Release that knee, bring that leg back into Virasana, using the hands to help you if you wish, and then start to draw the other knee in towards the chest, settling in for some deep breaths. And start to unwind that Virasana leg, hug both knees into the chest, either finding a gentle squeeze if you wish, or finding a nice tight squeeze if you wish, whichever one is calling to you. If you feel like giving yourself a really nice big squeeze, like you're hugging someone you love that you've not seen for ages, or if you just feel like a little gentle clasp, a little soft embrace. Whatever option you've chosen, you might rock yourself from side to side, finding a little massage in the lower back and in the glutes maybe. Now keeping the knees together, let them softly fall over to one side, coming into a supine twist. Softening both shoulders down into the earth. Letting everything feel soft and heavy. Unravel, come back through centre, let those knees drop over to the other side. Unravel yourself back through centre, maybe have another little squeeze, take any final movements that are calling to you before descending down into your version of Shavasana. Whatever shape your body wants to make right now, let it make that shape. Wherever you've landed, just try and soften everything into the earth. Notice all the parts of the body that are connected to the mat. Just like at the start, notice if there is resistance to this stillness. If you can find the time for movement, you can find the time for stillness, and both are equally as beneficial and valuable. If you feel like chilling out in your Shavasana for longer, that is very much encouraged. If you are ready to move on, you can start to bring some movement back to the body, just like we did at the start, starting off small, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, and then maybe making the movements a little bit bigger. Wiggle your way on up to a comfortable seated position. We will seal our practice with 3 deep releasing breaths. In through the nose and sighing it out through the mouth, not being ashamed of making some noise. Open the eyes if they are not already, and thank you so much for choosing to share your practice with me today. Really hope you enjoyed that. Whether or not you made it into some of those poses or not does not matter. It's all about having fun as we go. As you can see, it was a bit of a wild one for me. I just gave up on trying to control my hair. Here we are. I hope you have a fabulous day. Like I said at the start, I would be so happy if you could like, comment and subscribe. Don't know what the hand movement is for subscribe, but there we go. Thank you so much.